Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Red Bean Professor, where I bring you all sorts of Azuki TCG content. Now, I personally love the game, and I think it's a great game, and I want to see more and more players come over from different card games and give it a shot. Now, you're going to ask me, but how does my card game translate into Azuki? And this video is very specific to Magic players, because myself, I'm a Magic player at heart. Now, people have compared it with One Piece. They've compared it with Union Arena. But I, myself, want to take a different take and talk to you guys about similarities between cards in Azuki and cards in Magic. And with that, let's get started. One of my favorite formats in Magic the Gathering is called Commander. Now, Commander consists of your face card, the card that represents the whole deck, followed up by 99 other cards of either jank or synergy. Now, Azuki has something very similar called your leader. Now, I'm going to pull up the Dragon and I'm going to pull up Shao. All right, for the Dragon, we have cards like Draco Genesis, bringing you dragons, and more dragons. Now, in Azuki, though, it's a little different. It's not more or less about the synergy, which some of it does synergize, don't get me wrong, but it's more or less making up for the shortcomings of a deck or moving quicker than somebody else can move. Now with Shao, if you pay 1 IKZ, it prevents 1 damage. What does that tell me? Well, in the game, I'm probably going to play a little slower than others. I'm going to bring the damage they're bringing in down until I build a board state, turn pieces, swing, and finish the game out. Just like Magic. That is one of the many similarities that I'm finding. Another similarity is, and that thing would be Charge. Now, I have Scarlet over here and Lightning Greaves over here. Well, how are they similar? Well, Charge is a lot like Haste. Now, in Azuki, when you play a creature to your garden or from the alley and bring it up to the garden, it has something similar to Summoning Sickness. It can't go forth and destroy. But with Charge, you tap it and do the thing the second it hits the garden, right? Same thing with Lightning Greaves. Your creature comes out, you equip Lightning Greaves on it for a 0 cost, and you go and swing that same exact turn. That's pretty dang similar to me if you ask. Our next one is going to be Defender. Azuki has cards called Defender. Over here I have Warding Totem, and it's something that I find very similar, or the most similar, is a wall. We have Crystal Barricade over here. Now, why do I choose that? Because there's a lot of creatures in Magic that can block. I get that. And there's specific keywords that say they can't block, and that's kind of rare, right? But a wall seems very similar to the effect of Defender. A Defender in Azuki states this, that it can block incoming attacks. Well, shouldn't most of your creatures do that? No. So in Azuki, when somebody claims that they're attacking you and saying, I am hitting your leader, if you have no blockers, no defenders, you can't stop it. But a defender says you tap it and it'll go in front of the leader and block that damage. Now, some defenders can swing out and attack, and you have to make that choice. Do I want to attack? Am I getting close to winning the game? If I attack with this, do I win the game? Or do I want to save it and block a creature coming in at me? Now, you see more defenders in the Earth style deck. And walls over here, similar effect, right? They can block. The next one we're going to do is responses. Everybody in Magic has heard In Response, and you know what card usually gets that? Your Instance. So over here we have Bubble Adept, and over here we have Deflecting Swat. Now they're not completely similar because the timing is different. In Magic the Gathering, somebody plays something that's egregious, and somebody goes, in response to that, or in response I'm going to counter that, and we start getting the stacks and all that stuff. Azuki doesn't really have stacks in that type of sense. But with a response, it'll happen during a battle phase. Your opponent is swinging out at you, and you say, in response, I will sacrifice Bubble Adept. In response, I'll play this card, bringing down the damage. In response, I'll play this card, bouncing it, or countering it, to your hand. That's kind of similar, just different timings. Our next topic, though, is equipments. Now, Azuki doesn't technically have a term for their equipments, but Magic does, and that's where I find the similarity, because they are extremely similar. Over here I have Tenraku, and over here I have Sword of Feast and Famine. Now, With entities and creatures, you attach them to it. There is a slight difference though. In Magic, when you attach an equipment, it stays for the rest of the game until either the creature dies and it says the equipment gets removed with the creature, or the equipment gets exiled or destroyed. Now, in Azuki, the equipment attached to the creature, you swing, and at the end of your turn, your end step, the equipment goes to your discard pile. But don't worry though, in Lightning decks, you'll see it come back out of the discard and go back the very next turn onto the battlefield. So that is something nice. Our next one is going to be IKZ. Just like in Magic where we have lands, in Azuki we have IKZ. So IKZ here, Mountain here. They have the same exact ability where you tap it and it counts towards a mana. Now, in Magic though, you rely on pulling lands when you have a 2-card hand at the very beginning. Your commander costs 3 and you're living on hopes and prayers at turn 3, you pull another land. Not in Azuki though. In Azuki, you start with 10 IKZ in a pile, and on your first turn, you pull 1 IKZ out and put it on your field. Surprise, surprise, turn 2, the next IKZ comes out. You have 2, 3, all the way to 10. So you don't really have to live off of hopes and dreams like you do in Magic that you pull a land for turn. And that's something I really, really enjoy about this game. But to wind things down and finish things up, let's go to me again. I really do love this game. I have an amazing time playing it, and the similarities that I find between Magic and Azuki helped me out so much. I played my first game, and halfway through, I was already understanding how the game worked, and it was because my mind's been wired to, like TCGs, but now I'm finding similarities. It's helping me out. It helps me understand it, and I really enjoy it. So if you are a Magic player, I implore you to go out, if they have it at your local game store, or ask them to start stocking it, get some Azuki in, get one of their pre-constructed decks, and start playing it. You will have a blast. And if you do, please come back here and comment on this video and tell me what you enjoyed about it, the similarities, the expectations, just the gameplay itself. If you love it, I would love to hear from you guys. But if you like this type of content, make sure you like it and share it with your friends. We're trying to grow the community of Azuki players, and I'm hoping this channel does exactly that. Please subscribe to this channel. It shows your love and support. And until next time, this has been the Red Bean Professor. Don't be salty, and have a wonderful day. Adios, mi amigos.